So this painting is Sunset Sea Rock. I actually have no idea the source material of this painting. He could have made it up. It could have been inspired by places that he went to. I've heard people claim that it's off the coast of Central California. I don't think it is. I think it's somewhere out in the South Pacific, but it's very possible that my grandfather just made it up and this is something from his imagination. I don't know. I can't give you a definitive answer.
Alright, so here's Sunset Sea Rock. You kind of got a good look at it. This is a really interesting ocean scene. And before I get into any kind of details, like always, I want to show this to you in black and white, just so we can look at the tonal value pattern. As I mentioned many times, the tonal value pattern is the most important piece of a watercolor painting. If you get the tonal values right, everything else looks good. And we see that it goes from this highly saturated painting to something that still holds up with clear and distinct light values, medium values, and dark values. Okay, now that we go back to the color, I would like to impart what I know about this painting. Sunset Sea Rock was executed during Don's AWS period, likely in the early 2000s. I mentioned earlier that I am uncertain of the precise location depicted. If you know, let me know in the comments below. This painting has some very intense colors in it. There are two deliberate color pairings that I want to show you. The first pairing is the orange and yellow, and then to contrast them are the violet and blue. These two pairs of colors are complementary colors, and when next to each other create a large amount of color contrast. These four colors appear not to be mixed together, but largely painted next to each other or on top of each other. The water and sky are made up of the same colors. However, the water near the shoreline also has a few different greens mixed with it as well. You can see these greens again in the island in the background. The patterns of the sky and water, however, are completely different. The sky is largely made up of swaths of color that were painted with large brushstrokes, while the water was painted with much smaller and chaotic brushstrokes. This makes sense, as the turbulence of the water would have a different texture than the sky. The two are of similar value, nearly the same colors, but they're differentiated by their textures. There are a few earth formations I would like to show you. The first and most obvious is the main sea rock that gives the painting its namesake. This rock is in shadow, and it's mostly cool earth tones and a bit of the colors from the atmosphere mix in with it. But it's mostly just a rock, in a shadow, creating this drastic contrast between it and the sky behind it. In the lower right foreground, we have a much smaller rock resting on the beach. There's something really cool happening here, a reflection Don added using what looks like a student-grade cobalt blue. Typically, professional artists avoid such pigments because they contain fillers, but in this case, Don leveraged that quality to create a unique effect. In the background, we have a mountain off in the distance. Normally, when people think of painting mountains, they go with an earth tone, but as you can see, there are no earth tones visibly present anywhere in the mix. There might be a slight one in the underpainting, but this mountain is made up of a heavy blue washes with hits of an intense violet sitting on top of them. The same blue and violet colors as seen in both the sky and the waves. I'm glad I got to show you the up-close details of Sunset Sea Rock. Much of these details are lost on the regular image posts on Instagram or Facebook. As much as the details matter for a painting, they only exist to serve the composition. As we take a look back at the entire painting again, we get to how everything comes together in a unified composition and not just a collection of parts.
So anyway, that was Sunset Sea Rock. If you really like this painting, go check out the G clay print at dononeal.com. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.